I'm glad that he's talking about comics that I remember, because I don't read comics anymore, but I was like, okay, X-Men was my shit. Okay. So I know Nightcrawler. I know, you know, Magneto. I know all that shit. But then when you really think about it, he's like, you know, he's talking about being a superhero with a hood on, but you can also relate that to the literal being in the hood. And I'm like, okay, this shit is dope.
Open mic. Oh shit. Then a hip hop album review. Open mic Eagle. Brick Body Kids Still Daydream. Don't call him no nigger, no rapper. His name is motherfucking Mike Eagle, and he's sovereign. That right there is probably my favorite song on this joint, man. Open mic Eagle.
Brick Body Conflict.
Brick Body Complex. Yes, that's probably one of my favorite songs. Cause when I first started listening to it, I was just like, okay, what the hell is he rapping about? Like on that intro track, Legendary Iron Hood, I'm like, okay, he's talking about Charles Xavier, he's talking about Magneto. What the hell is going on here? I was a little lost. Like, I had to go back a lot to listen to this, to try to pick up all of the stuff. And it didn't really hit me until Brick Body Complex, where it's basic, and he basically says it in the song that he's a hood superhero, right? And that's the overarching thing that I got from this. I've never gotten back to listening to an entire Open Mic Eagle project. You know what I'm saying? I've gone back because I know you're big on open mic, and I remember we met him a couple A3Cs ago. Real humble, real cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, I didn't know what to expect. I know that's one of my catchphrases. I didn't know what to expect when I met him. But real cool, real humble dude, and it definitely comes off in his music. And this is the first time I listened to it, and he's definitely introspective, man. He did, like, and I didn't know he was from Chicago.
I didn't either.
I think it's very interesting that Chicago.
Well, he moved to LA. So I just thought he was just.
I thought he was from Chicago.
Yeah. And I think it's extremely interesting. I know he's an indie rapper, right? Like, he got 7 albums, right? Like, he has a lot of work. Yeah. He has a lot of work, but he doesn't get mentioned in that wave. And even like the conscious people, like just say his fucking name in the Chance the Rapper, he doesn't mention somebody like an Open Mic Eagle, which is interesting.
I don't think he. You talking about when you say wave? Are you talking about that like Chicago mentioned with Chicago indie rap?
Yeah,
I don't think he wouldn't identify as a Chicago rapper.
Right. Well, since you already known Open Mic Eagle's catalog for so long, and this is the first time you know he's from Chicago, I guess nobody else really knew.
I was actually gonna ask, because I was like, maybe I missed the Chicago mention.
I just know because I've listened to him on a number of podcasts. He even has a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does have a podcast.
Yeah, so that's how I know he was from Chicago. He was on Mark Maron's podcast years ago. He's a comedian, so you know Open Mic is big into comedy. So he tells his story on there too, because he was a teacher. He used to be a teacher too. And then he just quit that to start rapping.
I like his voice. Because it's light, but it's heavy at the same time, because his content is very dense. Like it ain't nothing to play with. Like the last track on here, My Auntie's Building, like how he talks about like, you know, how they blew up the projects in Chicago and really the gentrification and
like what a way to close the album.
Exactly. And how that impacts
drug dealers and church folk.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so deep that. Like, it's such a simple line.
It is.
But it means so much.
Because it's so relevant.
You see projects and you're like, oh, this is a bunch of those people.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's not just those people. It's also these people. And you put out 1,000 families. Like, when I read that the first time, I was like 1,000 people.
Nah.
1,000 families.
Yeah, that's just
that is crazy.
Man.
You know, Happy Wasteland Day, daydreaming in the projects.
Man,
it's like, God.
Okay, look, Happy Wasteland Day. That to me is like
that damn second verse.
His version of It Was a Good Day. Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day.
Right.
Just told in a totally different way. And then what makes it interesting is that he name dropped the Predator album on like another song. And I don't know if he did that intentionally, but man, because you know, you don't hear everything like the first listen, like over and over again. You listen to it, you're like, oh shit, I wonder if, you know.
Just in little places.
Man, that shit right there. Man, that second fucking verse, man. I haven't wanted to memorize a verse in years, but the way he rapped on that second verse and how he just just started to just get more and more energy as it went on. And then he just broke it all the way down in the third verse.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal now. That shit is normal. Oh man, God.
Holiday.
Sammus, is that a girl or is that a dude?
I think it's a girl. But
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, because
You know for a fact?
It's a female.
Okay.
It gotta be a female.
well, I've never heard of a
Either
light
way,
voice.
either way.
I'm afraid of misgender
Right,
people. I don't know.
Right, either way. That
person is dope.
person is dope. Man,
Either way,
that person
they are
was
dope.
dope as hell. That was a great feature, a good highlight of the album. But I mean, not taking nothing away from Open Mike Eagle, but yeah, that verse right there was like that whole cadence for that song. I was like, damn, that shit was dope as hell.
And the Apple line. And talking about
Steve Jobs.
go back to say Steve Jobs
Yeah, I was like,
eating
oh,
an apple a day, and Steve Jobs was actually like he would actually do that where he would just eat like fruit over and over again, like he would go on like fruit diets.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she intentionally did that, but knowing that about him, and then she's eating an apple a day, and I know that he sometimes would just only eat like one fruit.
Yep.
I was like, wow, if she did that shit.
I think so far this is, well, at least my introduction was dark comedy with Open My Ego, but I think this is like his most personal. You know, this is coming from a personal place with Open My Ego. So, yeah. So this is the first time he's like really opening that layer up for me. You know, I haven't listened to him before dark comedy, so Mike, I don't know if you can speak on that, but coming off with the legendary Iron Hood, I was like, oh shit, so he gonna go to this is the theme, this is where he's setting it off, and then the second joint, Feel at Home, that's one of my favorite joints here. I love that because the way he switched his flow up on that joint. Happy Wasteland, like you mentioned, that's one of that second verse. I was like, Jesus, dude. And Daydreaming I like Daydreaming the Projects and 95 Radios, which was, I think that was like the lead single to open this with Has-Lo on it. So I think that was dope because that was kind of like a reminiscent of in through the projects, him, you know, living in Robert Taylor's home in Southside Chicago. And I thought No Selling, that's my shit too. I thought No Selling. The fact that, and I think what's so dope about that because he touched on like kids in the hood, like try not to cry, always, try not to cry all the time. And I peeped. I caught a tweet from him one time, and I saw it on the title, Uncle Booch Pretending. His uncle was a Vietnam veteran, and he used to cry in the kitchen because he thought nobody was home. So like for him to right. So when I saw him tweet that, when I was just like, damn, I just happened to catch that. And when I was listening to the album, I was like, oh shit. And then
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
that's why I was like,
understand
that's another layer to that song that makes it even better because it's like you're talking about like not crying, trying to pretend to be hard, like trying to be tough in the hood, and it's like, but your uncle up in here is crying, and in the No Selling, that's a wrestling reference. Like No Selling is like you try to let your opponent act like you're hurt, but you're really not hurt. So which it kind of ties back into like real life hood shit. So that's why that's another one of my favorite songs. But yeah, other than that, man, I think this, like I said, this was the most personal I've ever heard of Open Mike Eagle, and just like you, y'all always loved his voice, the way he flows, everything. It's different. Like nobody sounds like Open Mike Eagle. That's another reason why I love him so much. I'm like, dog, you're so dope. And for you to make an album this you made creative albums like crazy, and you still making creative ass albums like this for you to tie into your old projects.
Just listening to you speak is like, you know, obviously I love like the whole hood stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like hard albums.
He's
like
touching on this in a
different way.
Yeah,
you know,
to set the theme like
exactly.
this. That shit was brilliant. It was so brilliant.
I don't think I've ever heard an album talk about the hood from this, like we've heard it from this perspective, but not executed like this. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the different emotions, all of the different perspectives, like him being a hood hero, his uncle, like just all of this different stuff, displacing families. You know what I'm saying? Like he just made you feel it. He made you feel like, damn, like these are people.
Us growing up in the Midwest, you know, seeing stuff like that. I remember they tore down Herman Gardens is a project near where I used to live at, and it's just like, and people just go. So stuff he's talking about, I'm like, damn, like this shit is.
You see it firsthand.
I love it, man. I love it because I'm just glad he kind of went away from the kind of comedy tone that he always have under his style. And
that's what I picked up from this.
And he went with a more serious, like that's why I'm like was amazed, like damn, this man just went away from this and he made this like. And it's so relatable. Like, it's just so damn relatable, man. It's dope. Shout out to Doc Illingsworth, too. He did No Selling. He did the
Oh, he did that shit?
Yeah, shout out to Doc
That's my
Illingsworth.
motherfucking
Yeah,
joint,
man. Yeah.
That shit, man.
He did that, and he did Daydreaming in the Projects.
I think this album is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely what I picked up is he definitely pulled back a lot on the comedy because this isn't even though he has a really unique way of making pain almost comedic. That's what black people do.
Right.
You know, we have to laugh because you know we go through so much shit. But I love the way that Mike Eagle's able to make his pain relatable to other people. But this album, I feel like he wasn't really trying to make anything comedic. He wasn't trying to make you laugh. He was really trying to make you feel something. And yeah, like you, I was a little thrown off by the first song because I was like, oh, is this gonna be the whole theme of this album? The ghetto superhero, you know, with the hood on. At first, I mean, for some reason, like when the second he said Charles, I was like, oh, he's talking about Juggernaut. You know, like Juggernaut was his stepbrother. Then that next song with that Exile beat, Feel It, I was like, okay, this shit is dope as fuck. And it just got better and better and better. Yeah. But my favorite jams, man, like Happy Wasteland is just such a great song.
So what is it about that second verse?
It's for me, it wasn't really so much the second verse. It's just that he's getting more and more anxious. Okay. Because Open Mike Eagle is such a calm rapper that when he gets even a little bit of fire up under him, you're like, whoa! You don't expect it. But on that second verse, it's like he's building and building.
It's like he's getting angry. Like he's just it's like he's reminiscing like that pain and that frustration. Living in the project.
Because he's like, can we just get one more day of not getting fucked with? Can we just get one? Basically, just like Ken said, because that's what I thought too. I was like, this is that today was a good day. Can we just have one fucking good day? That's it. But it's just the way he puts it is just so brilliant. That song and Brick Body Complex, that's probably my number one on this album, because just the idea of being such a byproduct of your environment that you feel like you are the building. Jesus fucking Christ, man. And then he's talking about, I come from a line of ghetto superheroes. And it's like anybody that grew up in a lower income area, that was just like an interesting aspect to me, was I come from a line of ghetto superheroes. I promise that I will never fit into your, what did he say? I promise I'll never fit into your, I promise I will never fit in your description. And it's like, that's interesting because it's like, and he says, I'm giant. Like, people that are not from those areas and don't communicate with those type of people, they just look at them and they're just like, they ain't shit. But I promise I will never fit in your description. I'm giant. I'm not a little nobody. I'm a giant brick fucking built. Like, that shit is so fucking dope to me. But I am the hood. I am the hood. Like, you are such a product of your hood. You are the fucking building.
And then
like
you look at the album cover too.
Because I didn't get the album cover at first, but then when you listen to that song, you're like, oh. And then the way it relates to my auntie's building at the end, the way it was just one verse and then it was gone. Brilliant. Like, it's brilliant. Like, there was nothing slouchy. No. There was no lag time on this shit. Like, everything on this album was just perfectly placed and hit perfectly. Like, no bullshit. This is album of the year material. Like, I would like to think about this. This is album of the year material because, like, there's only a few rappers, in my opinion, that play with words like he does. There's Ka. There's Aesop Rock. I can't think of, maybe Bus Driver, but I can't think of anybody else that plays with words the way this guy does. I'm not saying he's like the best MC. I'm not saying he's gonna beat you in a battle. But when it comes to being an actual wordsmith, like when it comes to being a poet that can lay shit down, I can't think of anybody that's better than those three dudes. Mike, Aesop, Ka. Like, those three guys, you can't touch them when it comes to words. This shit, I don't give a fuck. This shit is amazing.
Every listen gets better and better and better. Yeah. And I keep finding things in each song, or a certain line, or a flow, or a meaning in each time I listen to it. And that run of the one with Sammus, what's the name of that song with Sammus on it?
Begin with an H.
Who?
Hymnal.
To No Selling, to Happy Wasteland, and then he breaks it back down with Daydream. Man, it's just like that stretch right there is just like, what the fuck, man? I just get so fucking hyped. And he doesn't like make the music you would traditionally get hyped to, but the way he does it, you just find yourself just pulled into it. And the thing about this album is that makes it even crazier. I don't know if you guys ever read it, but Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a piece about like redlining in Chicago and how he basically broke down like the politics and just like the systemic, you know, racism that they did with you know, mortgages and loans and getting these people to pay these outrageous prices and charging them interest and stuff like that a couple of years ago. And it was really in depth. So reading that and hearing like this story from his perspective as a kid that used to stay there, you know, it's like I just couldn't help but think about that, because nobody, like, he wrote about it, but nobody that I know of has actually came in and actually told it as a native of that city.
My top 5: Hymnal, Happy Wasteland, Brick Body Complex. That's by far my favorite. I'm gonna have to say my auntie's building, just cause the way he paints that picture is ridiculous. Fuck, man, this is hard.
That's the last track.
That's the last track.
Feel at Home, Hypno, No Selling, Brick Body Complex, Happy Wasteland, I guess it.
Hymnal, No Selling, Happy Wasteland, like Freezeway Ritual, TLDR.
Yeah,
One more. Give me one more.
I like Brick Body Complex too.
Oh, okay.
Legendary Iron Hood. How Can Anybody Feel at Home? Give me Happy Wasteland Day. Give me Brick Body Complex, and definitely My Auntie's Building.
Y'all, that's crazy because it's like between y'all basically named the whole album for
Pretty
the most
much.
part. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that show you how good this shit is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It really is
Like,
that good.
It's hard to like just say, oh, these are the best 5.
Right.
Yeah, it's really that good of an album.
That's crazy.
If you're watching, Mr. Mike Eagle,
Motherfucking name is Michael
Eagle, I'm sovereign.
I love that shit.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I haven't listened to your entire body of work, but I definitely trust the other 4 guys that I do this with. So all I can say is continue to do what the fuck you're doing, because what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah, man. Open Mike, if you're watching, this is a fucking amazing album. I'm with Mike. This is definitely like one of the top of the year albums for 2017. Yeah, great job, man. Like I didn't think you had this in you to make a so serious and like painful, vivid type album, man, and talking about the housing project, Robert Taylor Homes. So good job, man. This is no skippable tracks. I can pop this in, let this play, and just, like Ken said, always catching something next song, or the way you like it. I think it was maybe the 3rd time I caught some on Wedding Ghost. I was just like, damn, like, so it's just like I'm still listening to this album, and I'm still catching stuff. For me, that's a great sign of a great album, when I'm always catching something. I'm like, god damn. So good job, man.
Open Mike Eagle, amazing work. I think there's something about being able to meet expectations and then exceed expectations. And one thing I know about you is that you're definitely going to deliver. And you did so again. For me, like, it's not often that I'm like, man, you know what? Let me put this Open Mike Eagle on. Like, to the point like this album, I want to just play it every day. You know, that's how much I actually like it.
Mike Eagle, if you're watching, thank you for making another fantastic album. Thank you for making it difficult to put together a best of list for the year. Thank you for bringing attention to things that other people may not be paying close attention to. And just thank you for being a creative voice in rap music, for being one of the most interesting writers in current rap music. So yeah, I love this project. I definitely think this is going to be in my top 5 for the end of the year. And that's really it. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you play the ATL. And yeah, everybody needs to listen to this shit because it's fucking fantastic.
When next time you play, you know?
A couple weeks.
In a couple weeks? You gonna tell us about it? You gonna remind us?
Y'all ain't gonna go unless we're interviewing him, so what does it matter?
That. Why you keep saying that?
Because y'all don't ever go.
You keep saying that, but you never
I have told y'all, and I can't remember who said it, but one of y'all specifically said, unless we're interviewing him, I'm not going. One of y'all said that shit.
I said it one time.
One of y'all said that
I ain't
shit.
never said that. I said I'm always down to do interviews. I have said that, but that don't mean that I wouldn't go.
Y'all not gonna go